Yesterday I started out my video talking about the fact that I was moving to a new platform for my post-production stuff, moving to Linux. Fortunately, pretty much everything that I do my stuff on was actually born in the open source environment, and therefore actually has Linux versions and probably had the Linux versions before the Windows versions. The result is that the changes that I was having problems with yesterday, I think I pretty much ironed out today. So probably you're going to see things go pretty well back to where they were before I moved platforms. Not because I'm going back to my prior platform, but in fact because I've worked out how to make things work on Linux. Okay, so I guess I kind of want to get into my discussion here, and I want to say basically you may know some folks who do things like videos like the ones that I put out there. And they're doing it to be, quote, famous or popular. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I don't want the messages in my videos to spread and to be seen by a wide audience. In that sense, it's fair to make the argument I'm seeking to be popular. That said, the message comes first. If I don't have any important things to say, popularity just really isn't that important to me. Hello and welcome to the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt. Today is the 4th of February of 2021. It is Thursday today. I'm running a little late today, so you'll be probably seeing this on Friday. Again, welcome to anyone who's coming in on Rumble on the podcast and on YouTube. And the subject for today's little video is going to be popularity. I have to say, the very first thing that I would advise anybody who is looking for things to look at is don't look for people who seem to be seeking popularity for the sake of it, unless you're just looking to be amused. For the most part, otherwise, it's not worth your time and your effort to do that. I think, too, among the conservative voices at least, who are out there, and I think probably you're going to find that this is a general thing, though maybe not in all cases. Most seek to put ideas ahead of popularity. That doesn't mean I'm saying there aren't pretenders acting as if they have something to say who really don't, right? We know that's true. That's going to be something that you're going to experience and deal with on a regular and ongoing basis, right? And that's whether or not you're talking about videos or whether you're, anything, any pursuit. But the point I'm making, I guess, ultimately is this. I never have really sought to be a popular individual. And in fact, actually the idea of doing videos is a sort of departure from that for me. I actually started out doing primarily blog entries, and really before that I felt like I didn't have anything to say, so I didn't really do anything at all. But at some point it kind of came to me that I needed to get some messages out there. And I'm going to, again, sort of cite what a couple of people have said before. I've heard a couple, 2 or 3 or more people give this one message, and it is, look, politics and, and things of that sort flow from culture. They flow from culture. Culture is the base thing. And I recognize this, and I didn't really have the language to say that until I heard other people say it and went, yeah, that's why I do what I do. I sort of went, duh. I don't do it to become popular or to be popular, and I don't do it because I like talking about politics. In fact, I really don't like talking about politics as it happens. That just is the thing that, to begin with, that I end up having to talk to a lot of the time, talk towards. And also it's the thing, sadly, that a lot of people really like to see in videos. I don't really care all that much about politics. Why? Well, because as far as I'm concerned, for the most part, if your culture is bad, it doesn't really matter what people are saying about your politics. That's true for popularity too, by the way. We've got people in popular culture in the United States, and various people I've heard talk about them have gone, really? This is what you want your popular culture to look like? And the answer, unfortunately, for a lot of folks is yes. Yes, that is what they want their popular culture to look like. And it's one of the reasons that I have sort of shied away from popularity, because my attitude about things is I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't have any interest in using foul language as a way to get you to listen to what I'm saying. In fact, I try very hard not to use it at all, as I'm sure you've probably noticed if you paid attention to what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure that if I were willing to do things like use bad language, I would actually be more popular as a result. That doesn't change whether or not I'm going to do that. When you do something like what I do, like what Dan Bongino does, like what Ben Shapiro does, like what so many others do, okay, if I don't think, as a rule, you're probably going to be particularly successful if you try to seek popularity in doing it. I'm not saying that you should seek to have unpopular messages, right? I think that what you need to do is strike a chord with people so that they understand what you're saying and realize the truth and the correctness in what you're doing and saying. But if what you're doing is thinking, I'm going to be popular and therefore as a result, I'm going to make big money or whatever. Well, first of all, let me tell you something. I've already said that I have in excess of 6,000 video views on all of my videos. I don't want to tell you what I've actually made in terms of monetization of my videos on any platform at this point, but I'll tell you this, it's not much. It's not very much. And that's okay. Maybe at some point, I'll come to the point where I'm getting 6,000 views on a video, 10,000 views on a video, 100,000 views on a video. That's not the case at the moment, and that's just how that is. But if it never comes to be the case, let's just say this. If it does come to be the case, it won't be because I stopped saying the things that I thought were important, popular, and necessary. That won't be why. It'll be because people listened and decided that, they needed to start listening more. I'm almost up to 200 subscribers on my channel on Rumble. And it's the place where, as I've said before, I get the most play at this point. 200 followers. Gosh, what's Bongino talking about? Oh, I've got millions of followers or 1 million followers or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what it is. The same thing applies to a lot of the big guns, right? They've got 500,000, 1 million, whatever followers. And that's great. And I'm here to tell you I'm glad they do. I'm not that guy who looks at those guys and says, I wish I could do that and it's not right that they did. They've paid their dues to begin with. They've been around for a while. They've paid their dues. But the more important thing is, all of these guys are saying things on an ongoing basis that it's important for you to hear. And when they're not, well, you can ignore them or whatever. But the point is, in general, they're at least trying to say things that are important things for you to hear. And they're not seeking popularity. That's one of the good things about dealing with them is, since they're not seeking popularity, they're probably going to stay popular because people are going to continue to listen to them for the messages that they put out there. Now, in addition to this, I have another kind of thing to say, and it is there are people who I don't listen to at this point, and maybe I'll come back to listening to them, and maybe I won't. But they're people, as I say, who I've listened to before. That's what I mean by maybe I'll come back to it. And I came to the conclusion they were saying things that I just really didn't agree with one way or another. And it got to the point where I felt like that was happening enough of the time that much of the time I don't bother to listen to anything they say. This is what I mean when I say, so I'm going to name names. Right now, I'm not listening to Ben Shapiro. At some point, that may happen again. I may start listening to him again. But naming names, ask Ben Shapiro whether or not he cares whether Kurt listens to his podcasts or his watches his videos or whatever. It's not that he doesn't care at all, right? I'm not saying that. But he's not going to stop doing what he thinks is right because I don't listen to his videos, his podcasts, or whatever. And this is what you need to understand. And that's true, again, for Dan Bongino. That's true for Dinesh D'Souza, I'm sure, and so many others. That's what I think is the right way to do. So look, you may think popularity is an important thing, and I get that. As for me, I'd love to be more popular, but I'm not gonna do it if it means I've got to stray from either what I think is important or what I think is right. So, that having been said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. It is again the 4th of February of 2021. In case I said January early on, I apologize for that. It's the 4th of February 2021. And again, thanks for listening to the end of my piece. Remember that you can like the piece or rumble the piece if it's on Rumble that you're paying attention to me, which is where I would prefer you do so, by the way. I hope that you've had a good day. This day is pretty much over, and like I say, most people are probably not going to see this until tomorrow, if not later. Hope things are going well for you. Hopefully you're coming into Friday and that things will go well for you where that's concerned. And hopefully we will see you again tomorrow. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video was recorded on Thursday, the 4th of February of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.